So, Karl, how was your Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I liked it. You know, it was cool. It was pretty cool. Don't you think?
Do you have any plans for New Year's?
Not necessarily. Did you have any in mind? I mean, I didn't really have any in mind, if that's what you mean. Yeah.
Are you even listening to me?
Could we skip that question?
Hey everyone, it's David, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Bluetooth headset because today I have the pleasure of speaking with Karl Ahrens of Mountain Ocarinas. Karl, thanks for speaking with me today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. You first started Mountain Ocarinas back in 1996. What first got you interested in the instrument?
Well, I guess I've always loved music. I played the harmonica as a kid, blues harmonica. I loved that. I played the saxophone in junior high, all through high school. But as an adult, I kind of never found time for music. At one point, I started getting back into the harmonica again. I played the recorder and the tin whistle, just looking for something a little bit more portable than my saxophone that would fit in with life a little better. But one day I was visiting the Children's Science Museum in Boston with my family. And there was this Honduran guy with his blanket out on the sidewalk. And I'm bilingual. I studied a master's degree and I studied education at the University of Puerto Rico, and I'm very gregarious. So I stopped to talk to this guy. And he had these little clay things. I didn't know what they were. And when I found out they were little flutes, I'd never heard of Ocarina before, you know. And when I found they were little flutes, I was just instantly taken with the idea. My mom still remembers it. I was so excited. You know, I bought this little thing for $2, got it home. Of course, I couldn't play it for anything. It really wouldn't play a scale as you and I might think of a scale. But the idea was there.
Well, how did you go from just learning about the ocarina to starting your own ocarina business?
You know, it was a gradual thing. I did a lot of searching, and I had quite a collection of ocarinas. I've never been a collector, but I was just looking for my idea, and tastes vary, my idea of a concert quality ocarina. I wanted, I guess, more sound than I was getting out of my ocarinas. I wanted something I could play with a lot of passion and aggressiveness, or, I was from a saxophone background, and so I wanted an instrument that I could play with other musicians in public, with lots of sound, that I could play passionately, that would have a flowing fingering, design. I had some 4-hole ocarinas that I liked, but, you'd kind of reach a certain point where I felt like I couldn't go too far beyond that type of fingering. I was looking for something different. So I guess I didn't start out wanting to make ocarinas, but I got so into this idea of an ocarina that I started to make my own. And something that was very important to me was a carry-with-you concert quality flute, something that wouldn't break easily. I'm really into the outdoors. I wanted something that I could camp with, hike up on the mountain with, take any place.
Well, obviously most ocarina companies are fairly small since ocarinas aren't as well known as we'd like them to be. What are some of the challenges you faced during your time in the ocarina business?
This question kind of almost overwhelms me to think about, because there are so many things that I could say. I started out without any idea of how to do anything. I didn't have the tools or the machinery. I didn't have money. I just really wanted to do it. And I had to educate myself in so many areas. Just to give you an example, last year, I did so many all-nighters, you wouldn't believe it. As we're transitioning from me making everything demand has been such that there's no way we could keep that up. So the whole process of transitioning to having other people do this as well, highly trained people. And last year, things were fairly under control compared to some other years. So it's one of these things that if I knew ahead of time what would go into this, who knows, I might never have started. So actually, I'm very thankful that I didn't have a clue.
While those are some of the challenges, what are some of the highlights you've had through the years?
I'm very outgoing, and I've always loved the interaction with people. You know, people call up on the phone to ask questions, and I just come alive talking to people. I used to do a lot of conventions and things like that where I'd sell the instruments, and it was very grueling, but I just kind of love it because I love people. So I guess one of the things is that, you know, I love music and I love ocarinas, and so when you're helping other people to make progress with something like this, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
And as an ocarina maker, you've probably seen and heard many different styles of ocarina. Why did you choose to go with the inline?
One of the most important things to me is balanced ergonomics. You know, I pick this thing up and everything is in balance, whether I play laying down or whatever. I'll give you an example. I used to do a huge fair in the Northeast called the Big E. It's 17 days straight, and I did this a few years. And for 17 days, I'm there from early in the morning till late at night playing my ocarina, you know. And the thing about it is, having real good ergonomics, I never had like a sore neck or a shoulder or wrist or anything like that. So there's the ergonomics of it. Also, I do a lot of these fingering exercises, you know. I'll just have to do a video soon to demonstrate these things. But in terms of Celtic music, I do a lot of practicing of the fingerings while I'm driving my car or watching a movie with a family. I mean, during all those days when I was just working like a slave, I still could keep up with things by doing fingering dexterity exercises.
Well, your company already offers some great ocarinas and learning materials. Are there any plans for the future of mountain ocarinas?
And I did a video on this not too long ago. I'm tempted to take them all out, but we have a wonderful 2-octave ocarina with the same fingering as our present ocarinas. You know, we have a wonderful little, tiny little key of C, which one year I just had the best time Christmas caroling with it. Sweet sound, same fingering as our present, and it's great. I've got a wonderful F. Our present G, actually, I want to add an extra note or two onto it. And a lot of learning material. So I've got a whole list of things. I should probably stop now. The thing is, though, our main focus right now, we finally got production under control, more or less. And it's time to just get a little more stable financially before we can bring some of these other things to the market.
Well, Karl, before we go, are there any tips you'd like to share with all those who are just starting on the ocarina?
Well, I have a ton of tips, but the one thing that stands out in my mind is to practice the 2-minute method. If you're able to, take your ocarina with you and take advantage of the size of the thing and the portability. And if you're sitting at the computer and you're, you know, a little tired and your neck is hurting, just lean back and play your ocarina a couple minutes, waiting for the bus. I do it sitting in the car. You know, my wife, I'm with the kids in the car, and my wife has to run in real quick. And, you know, I'll just take out my ocarina and start playing. But it's amazing. You would think that, well, what can you get done in 2 or 5 minutes? But if you do this on a consistent basis, maybe a few times throughout the day, you'll find yourself making dramatic progress as a musician, even without time to practice, so to speak.
Well, Karl, thanks so much for speaking with me today, and I look forward to everything else Mountain Ocarinas has to offer us in the near future.
Thank you very much, David. We really appreciate your videos and the contributions you've made to the worldwide ocarina community. I mean that very sincerely. You've done a lot of great work.
Well, if you'd like to learn more about Mountain Ocarinas and all their awesome products, please visit mountainsocarina.com. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.